Hey guys, Rick Stone here from the blog Our Stony Acres and the online gardening school. Welcome to 5 Minute Fridays, my video series where I try and give you a valuable gardening tip in 5 minutes or less. Before we get started this week, please make sure that you subscribe to my YouTube channel, or if you're watching this on Facebook, make sure that you like my Stony Acres Facebook page. Okay, so this week it's the first part of August. It's actually August 2nd that I'm filming this video, and I want to talk to you a little bit about what you can grow in the fall and also in the winter, and when you should be planting it, okay? So before we actually talk about the crops, and there's a lot of crops, like 30 crops that you can grow, but before we talk about those, let's talk about how to know when to plant for fall and winter harvest. And the key is knowing when your first frost date is. So you should be able to look up online what the average first frost for your town is, and you need to take a look at that, and then you need to march backwards about 8 weeks, okay? And your planting target dates are going to be 6 to 8 weeks before that average first frost. So for us, our average first frost in our town is October 1st. So that means 8 weeks back is August 1st. So we're going to start planting between August 1st and August 15th. And that's our target date for planting any crops that are going to be growing in the fall and even into the winter. Now, if you're growing things in the winter, you're going to need to look at things like hoop houses or cold frames to help protect your crops. But you're going to still plant at this same time because you want those crops to be nice and big and mature before the winter settles in, so that because they're going to stop growing in the wintertime. Now, the other thing that you need to keep in mind in planting in the fall is think about what August is like, okay? So for us, the temperatures in August are 95 to 100 degrees. Even into the first part of September, we'll still have temperatures in the 90s. That's pretty rough on new plants, okay? So you're going to need to spend some extra time and pay some extra attention to those seeds and seedlings that you plant in the fall. So it may be that you'll be watering twice a day, a light watering twice a day, especially before the seedlings have actually germinated. You may have to keep the soil that wet. And then you may be watering every day for the first 3 or 4 weeks until you get through this hot time. So you need to make sure that you plan on giving your plants lots of extra attention in the fall, okay? All right, so let's talk about the plants that you can actually grow. And there's 3 main categories of plants that you can grow in the fall. We've got root crops, leafy greens, and then the broccoli family of plants. So let's talk about root crops first. So the root crops that do really well for us in the fall garden are carrots, radishes, beets, and turnips. A few of the other root crops take a little bit longer. Parsnips, rutabagas, things like that take a little bit longer to grow, and sometimes you run out of time before things really start getting cold. So I would stick to turnips, beets, carrots, and radishes. Those all can be planted starting 8 weeks before your first frost, and will do really, really well. And in fact, they sweeten up after the frost comes and things start to get cold. They really sweeten up, and it makes for some really yummy vegetables. Okay, the second area, or the second broad category of plants that you're going to be growing in the fall, are kind of the base of your fall garden, and that's the leafy greens. So leafy greens just do so well in the fall. They're just fantastic, and even into the winter, they do really, really well. So when I talk about leafy greens, we're talking about things like lettuce, spinach, arugula, all of the Asian greens, mizuna, Bok Choy, Tatsoi, all of those do really, really well in the fall. They like the temperatures in the fall. Once you get through that hot phase, that first month or so, then they really start to enjoy that temperature. I've found that the tastiest lettuce and spinach and other leafy greens that I've ever grown have been grown in the fall. So it's just a perfect time. And there's just a broad category that you can grow there. Basically anything that you eat the leaf, you can grow in the fall. And so there's a lot to choose from in that area. And then the last area that you can choose from is the broccoli family, or the Brassica family is what it's called. And that would include broccoli, cabbage, Brussels sprouts, cauliflower, kale, and kohlrabi. Okay? All of those do really, really well in the fall. They like the cooler temperatures and will do super, super well. Now, the one thing that you need to keep in mind with those is if you live anywhere from a zone 7 or below, you're going to have to plant those using seedlings, not seeds, okay? There won't be enough time for a broccoli plant to grow from a seed all the way to a fully mature plant before the hard, cold weather comes for the winter. So you have to plant, 6 to 8 week old seedlings about 6 weeks before your first frost in order for that category of plants to be successful. So again, that's broccoli, cabbage, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, kale, and kohlrabi. All of those do really, really well in the fall. Okay, so that's all I have for you. I just wanted to give you a list of all of the things that you can plant, and now is the time to be planting them. Remember, 6 to 8 weeks before your first frost is when you want to get those in the ground. So get going on those. Now, if you would like to learn more about growing this time of year and the whole concept of year-round gardening, the best place to do it is to take my year-round gardening video course, and that can be found on the Online Gardening School. There's a link in the description below that will take you to the course. Actually, it'll give you half off, so it's only $20 for a 5.5-hour video course that will teach you everything you need to know to make your vegetable garden a 365-day-a-year vegetable producing machine. Okay, so take a look at that course. It's down in the description below. I'd love to have you join the course and have that as part of the interaction that we have here on Stony Acres. So, all right, that's all I have for this week. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel or my Facebook page. Everybody have a great week. Happy gardening.